everyone. This is Zami from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Oregon Short Film Festival. Right now, we are gearing up for our spring event, which is going to take place on March 17th at the beautiful historic Clinton Street Theater in Portland, Oregon. And today, we are talking with one of our participating filmmakers. Andy Rossi is the writer, director, and star of Surprised to See Me. Andy, thank you very much for meeting with me today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So, Surprised to See Me is a great film, and it actually is full of surprises. I want to know what inspired you to make this movie.
Yeah, a couple things. So basically, like it's kind of an old, I think, movie trope that you see every now and then in some movies is somebody walks into their home and there's like somebody that had been waiting for them in the dark. It's happened in probably a lot of movies in like
Totally.
the 40s and 50s, like noir kind of stuff.
For an unknown
Um,
amount of hours.
yeah. So I was just thinking one day, I was like, no one ever shows what that person's doing. Like they sneak into the home and then what do? They don't know when the person's going to be home. So do they make themselves comfortable in the home? Do they go
Right.
to the fridge? Do they bring some friends over? Do they order a pizza? What is it they do? Do they watch their TV? So that was like the idea of it, just silly. And yeah, that's kind of where it came from because I'm like, I want to show the perspective of the person that's broken into the house. So that's kind of like the main plot of our film is this guy breaks into a home and now he's in there waiting for this guy to come home, but time passes, so what do? So he's going on their TV and watching TV. He orders food. He's making himself at home.
Well, I love that so much, and it's so cool, and it's very interesting to see someone interrogate these film tropes that we totally take for granted and turn into something funny. And then just beyond that premise, the film takes a whole wild turn with additional characters. And I'm curious, how did you go about writing all the different characters? We have Mr. October, who's hilarious. We have Geneva. How did you go about that?
So my background is at the Groundlings. It's an improv and sketch school here in
Okay,
LA,
totally.
and so for me, it's all about they're all about characters. So I'm kind of similar where I just love finding these characters and bringing them to life. So it always definitely starts with that. And luckily, I'm been around some really good actors and actresses. So a lot of the parts were written specifically for that person. So I kind of knew what would kind of work for them, what they'd be able to play.
Okay, totally.
And for me, I like mysterious characters. So like you said, the Bobby October person. People will see when they see the film. He's definitely an interesting character that's like talked about, and then we finally get
Totally.
he's finally revealed later. And then just I really like the idea of like strong like female characters. So
Totally.
as they'll see in this film, I definitely have some strong female kind of kick-ass actresses.
Very kick-ass. Well, I'm curious, so much of the chemistry on screen is so great, and everything feels very natural. I'm wondering to what extent is there some ad-libbing? To what extent do the, kinda actors, take their roles upon themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it's all written out, so, like, I wrote all the
Okay.
script, but, so I love improv, like I said before, the Groundlings and stuff, so we would do it with the actual script, and then we would always do, like, let's do some improv. Uh, I'd say, like, every scene probably has some stuff that wasn't, written, until the day we, started playing around and stuff, so for me, it's whatever is the most fun and funny, and if the idea works, let's just go for it. But yeah, I really like to riff and improv and keep the cameras rolling.
I love that.
Once it's supposed to be done, like let's see what happens. So,
Totally. Well,
so
it's great.
that's
It's
yeah.
really, embraces the collaborative nature of cinema, and I think it really allows the actors to blossom into their characters. Because everything felt so natural. There's great chemistry, and as a result, I think it's just so hilarious to watch your characters interact on screen.
Thank you.
I'm curious, what was the on-set dynamic like? Was it an easy shoot? Was it hard? Were there challenges?
I mean, the biggest challenge was we everything is at night, so we actually did do everything at night. So I think our call time each day was like 5 or 6 p.m.
Okay, so real
So
late night shoots.
yeah, so we were
Okay,
there a couple times till like 2 3 in the morning.
dang.
So I'd say that was the challenge. The great thing was, luckily, the house that we shot at primarily for everything is my cousin's house. So luckily, they're one of my biggest fans. So so they let us, shoot
Excellent.
there and without any issues or anything like that. So our shooting location was great. It was just like dealing with like keeping people up pretty late,
Totally.
but we have a great team, so everybody was willing to kind of stick around. They knew that it was going to be pretty late, so
Well, that's great. I think when the team can come together and just push through, it just makes it so much more rewarding.
yeah,
And it's cool, as a director, one of the goals is to make sure that everyone, even the crew, even the people not on screen, are vibing and having an okay time and everything. And that's cool to keep in mind
yeah, oh
late
yeah,
nights
for
and,
sure.
and helping people out.
Yeah,
Um,
keep people fed, keep people.
Totally, the little things.
Yes.
So tell me, what did you learn from this process? Did you take anything away from this?
Always learning on every film. This one was, I did it as by the book as possible. I've done some projects in the past where we just kind of like run and gun, and we just find a spot to shoot and we go for it.
Totally.
This one I did like all the, crossed off all the boxes.
Okay.
Went through SAG and did insurance and permits and all the stuff you're supposed to do. So that was for me a learning experience, just kind of like, and we were shooting. COVID was still kind of a thing.
Okay.
So we had an on-set COVID compliance officer. So just learning filmmaking, like I loved the creative part of it, but for me, this was the part of like figuring out like I don't know, the boring stuff, I guess, like, in permits and insurance and,
Totally.
the SAG paperwork, all that stuff that, you
Right.
know, you don't really think about when you're like, let's make a movie.
Right. Not the
So
glamorous stuff.
Right, so I learned like that, and I learned it's actually not that difficult to kinda do it yourself as an independent filmmaker. So yeah, so I'd say that was kind of the main stuff I learned.
Well, that's really important, and it sounds like maybe every film you're making, you're leveling up to that more professional level. And I mean, as a result, you went through the professional channels, and this has a very professional look and feel to it. It feels very polished, very complete. Maybe checking off those boxes and going through that process is sort of just an important step in making something really high quality.
Yeah, that's always
Um,
the goal, yeah, keep leveling up.
Totally. Well, so Andy, do you have any more projects planned?
I had a feature right before this,
Okay, right on.
it's called Dead Body. You can check it out on Amazon and Tubi
Awesome.
and YouTube. And it's kinda like similar, tone, like, it's
Okay,
very much I always say my films are, like, silly and bloody. So, that one, like, had, like, a similar tone. This one's, pretty similar to that. So I do have a kind of a 3rd film that I'm currently writing right now. It's gonna be a feature that's kind of
nice.
that same world, quirky characters, so that's kind of what I'm finishing up the script right now, and then that's my
Excellent.
goal is to kind of shoot that next.
Okay. Can we get any insights into what the story's gonna be about, or is that still under wraps?
This one, I'd say like the best way I could describe it is I started writing a script about like a romantic comedy,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden it turned into a slasher film. So I'd say like a combo of those two things.
I love that. Well, you're watching these rom-coms, you get frustrated, you just want someone with a
That,
machete to show up.
that's exactly what happened. I was kind of
I
like,
love
where
that.
does this character go? I'm like, well, we can murder him.
It's catharsis, I love it. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add about Surprised to See Me?
I mean, for me, it's just a fun film for people to check out. If you like, dark comedy, this is kind of, exactly what at least I picture when I hear the word dark
Totally.
comedy. So hopefully people enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, I think people are really gonna love it on March 17th at the Oregon Short Film Festival. It takes you on a ride, tons of great characters, tons of great surprises, and I think, "Silly and bloody" is a perfect tagline. So,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much, Andy. I'm looking forward to putting it on the big screen.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Take care.